Remember that moment, standing in your old apartment's kitchen, counting coins for instant noodles, watching the sunset through the window with cracked blinds. That last 20 in your wallet stretched thinner than your patience. Those days are dead now. Your notification bar isn't lighting up with overdraft warnings anymore. It's glowing with deposit alerts that make you smirk. The same people who forgot your texts when you were down are watching your story now, eyes wide at your come-up. But you're too busy counting commas to notice. Now when someone asks for a favor, you don't check your balance first. You check if they're worth your time. Your account isn't just breathing anymore, it's roaring. And this is just the beginning. That first major deposit hits your account, and suddenly the weight of financial struggle lifts. It's not just a number on a screen, it's a seismic shift in your reality. You stare at the balance, your heart racing as the years of scraping, by budgeting down to the last dollar and saying no to things you desperately wanted, fade into the background. This moment feels surreal. Like the universe has finally hit the pause button on chaos and handed you a golden ticket. You've dreamed of this day, but now that it's here, it's hard to believe it's real. The relief is palpable, as if a heavy chain you didn't even realize you were carrying has been unlocked and dropped to the floor. This isn't just about money, it's about freedom from obligations and restrictions that kept you in survival mode. For the first time, you can breathe without the constant pressure of bills, debts, and the fear of running out. You think about all the times you had to sacrifice, the opportunities you missed, and the dreams you put on hold because you simply couldn't afford to take the risk. Now, those barriers are gone. You can finally say yes to the life you've always wanted, whether it's traveling, starting a business, or simply enjoying the peace of mind that comes with financial stability. This newfound freedom isn't just about what you can buy, it's about who you can become. You now realize you were never meant to be broke, stuck, or struggling. This was always part of your divine path. The challenges you faced weren't punishments, they were preparation. Every setback, every moment of doubt, every time you wondered if you'd ever catch a break was leading you to this moment. You see now that your struggles were never the end of your story. They were the foundation of your resilience. This deposit isn't just money, it's validation. It's proof that you were always destined for more. And now the universe is aligning to show you just how powerful you truly are. Drop a comment. Indebted to no one if you've cut the cords for good. No more guilt, no more silent debts, no more being drained by people who only knew how to take. This is life-changing, generational money, not temporary, not short-lived. It's the kind of wealth that rewrites your family's story, creating a legacy that will outlive you. You think about your parents, your grandparents, and all the sacrifices they made just to get by. Now, you have the power to change that narrative. This isn't just a windfall, it's a transfer of energy, a shift in the trajectory of your lineage. You're no longer just surviving. You're building something that will ripple through generations, providing opportunities and security for those who come after you. This is the moment you realize that your life and the lives of those you love will never be the same. You are now financially free. No longer worried about bills, debt, or paycheck-to-paycheck survival, the anxiety that once kept you up at night, the endless calculations of how to make ends meet, the fear of unexpected expenses. It's all gone. You wake up each morning with a sense of peace you've never known before. Money is no longer a source of stress. It's a tool, a resource that allows you to live on your own terms. You can finally focus on what truly matters, your passions, your relationships, and your purpose. The grind of survival mode is over, and in its place is a life filled with possibility and abundance. You feel the pull, the undeniable knowing that your relationship with wealth isn't like everyone else's. While others chase money, hoard it, fear it, you understand something deeper. Your wealth isn't random. It isn't luck. It's written into your very existence, coded into the sacred contract you agreed to long before you arrived here. Every time abundance flows through you, it's not just a transaction. It's a confirmation, a whisper from the universe saying, yes, you were meant for this. Because you are not just here to make money, you are here to command it, to channel it, to move it like an unstoppable force of nature. The energy of wealth seeks you because it knows you are not reckless with it. You do not cower before it or worship it. You understand it. You recognize money as a tool, an extension of your purpose, a bridge to something far greater. When you touch wealth, it doesn't just serve you, it serves the world through you. That is the difference, that is the contract. And yet, they will try to convince you otherwise. They will say, wealth is a game of numbers, a system rigged against you. But you already know the truth. The system bends when you step into your power. The rules shift when you decide they no longer apply. Wealth follows those who move with intention, with certainty, with the unwavering knowing that they were never meant to struggle. You are not here to beg for scraps. You are here to claim the empire that was always meant to be yours. And this is just the beginning. Enough. No more chains disguised as loyalty. No more invisible contracts signed in desperation. No more I owe you traps designed to keep you small. You are done carrying the weight of expectations that were never yours to bear. The world has tried to convince you that your freedom must come at a cost, that you must shrink, compromise, and endlessly give in return for permission to rise. Your only obligation is to yourself and your purpose. That is the contract. That is the law. For too long, you've been bound by silent agreements, ones you never truly agreed to. Favors with hidden price tags, relationships built on unspoken debts, the constant suffocating guilt of being too much or not enough. But you are no longer playing by those rules. Your generosity is no longer a currency for approval. Your kindness is no longer a leash. When you give, it will be because you choose to, not because you're manipulated into believing you must. Your energy, your time, your wealth, they are sacred, and only those who honor them will have access. And they will notice the shift. The ones who thrived off your self-sacrifice, who expected your light without ever offering their own. They will call you selfish, ungrateful, different, and they will be right, because you are different now. You have severed the ties. You have stepped into a new frequency, one where your worth is non-negotiable, where your path is yours alone to walk. This is the moment you reclaim yourself, and once you do, there is no going back. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them validation. You don't owe them a single second of your time. For too long, you've been conditioned to believe that your existence requires justification, that you must prove yourself, explain your choices, and make others comfortable with your success. But the truth is, if they weren't there when you struggled, they don't get a seat at your table now. You are not obligated to entertain those who only show up when it's convenient for them. The days of over-explaining, over-giving, and overextending yourself are over. Your energy is sacred, and reciprocity is the only currency you accept now. No more one-sided relationships. No more being the giver while others take without hesitation. The ones who truly belong in your life will meet you where you are. They will pour into you as much as you pour into them. Anything less, it's a debt you're no longer willing to collect. This isn't about being ruthless. It's about being real. Real connections, real support, real alignment. And if someone can't match your effort, your respect, or your loyalty, they are not entitled to your presence. Your peace is non-negotiable. You have worked too hard, sacrificed too much, and grown too far to let anyone disrupt the balance you've built. The version of you that tolerated nonsense no longer exists. This is the era where you stand firm, in your worth, where you protect your time, your space, your energy. If someone demands more than they've earned, let them be confused. Let them wonder, but do not explain. You owe them nothing, and that is your power. And now let us take a brief moment to honor the chosen among us. Here's to the ones who see the world differently. The silent guardians, the watchful souls, always awake, always vigilant. They don't fit the mold, and they wouldn't have it any other way. While others walk familiar paths, they forge their own, fighting unseen battles, illuminating the shadows. It's not for everyone, and that's okay. But if you feel it, deep within, you'll know this is meant for you. No masks, no pretense, just truth. The Obsidian Inner Order is here, a place where kindred spirits gather to share wisdom, to connect, to transform. Over 450 strong, united not by conformity but by purpose. If you're ready, you know where to find us. The link is in the description. If not, that's perfectly fine, because we're always here watching over, making a difference in ways unseen. Here's to those who walk their own path, not for recognition, but because it's who they are. Here's to you. Thank you. No explanation, no apology, no hesitation. No is no longer a struggle for you. It's a full sentence, a boundary, a statement of self-respect. Once upon a time, you felt the need to soften it, to justify it, to make sure no one felt uncomfortable with your refusal. But not anymore. You've learned that every yes to someone else at your own expense was a silent betrayal of yourself. Now, you say no with ease, with certainty, with the quiet power of someone who knows their worth. You used to carry guilt for setting boundaries, for protecting your time, for not being available on demand. But the more you evolved, the clearer it became. Those who truly value you respect your boundaries. The ones who get angry, the ones who try to guilt-trip you, manipulate you, make you feel selfish, they were never for you. They thrived when you had no limits, when your kindness was an open door instead of a locked gate. And the moment you stopped being accessible on their terms, they showed their true colors. Let them, because your evolution is non-negotiable. Saying no isn't selfish, it's self-respect. It's refusing to pour from an empty cup. It's choosing alignment over obligation, peace over people-pleasing. And when you stand firm in that, you shift the energy around you. You invite only those who respect your boundaries, who understand that your time, your presence, and your energy are earned, not owed. The version of you that once felt guilty is gone. This is who you are now. And trust me, there is no greater power than standing firm in your no. The way the air around you carries a different weight, the way people look at you now, some with admiration, others with discomfort. That's because your frequency has shifted. You are no longer the version of yourself that people once knew, and that makes them uneasy. Some will celebrate your growth, recognizing the work it took to elevate. Others will resent it, wishing you had stayed where they were comfortable. But understand this, not everyone is meant to rise with you. Elevation comes with separation, and that is the price of stepping into your power. The truth is, you're no longer accessible in the way you used to be. The ones who only knew how to connect with your struggle are confused now because the struggle is no longer your language. They thrived when you needed saving, when you played small, when you questioned your worth. But now you stand rooted in certainty, in abundance, in self-respect, and they don't know how to handle it. They'll say you've changed, but what they really mean is that they can no longer control or define you, and that's exactly how it should be. Wealth didn't change you, it revealed the truth. It exposed who was real and who was only there for as long as you were convenient. Some people celebrated your wins as long as they didn't surpass their own. Some cheered for your success, until it meant they could no longer relate to you. And now you see them clearly. Now you move differently. You don't chase, you don't explain, you don't shrink to make others comfortable. Your energy speaks for itself, and those who can't match it, they were never meant to stay. Remember those days, the ones where every dollar felt like it was slipping through your fingers, the nights spent stressing over bills, the hesitation before every purchase, the constant mental math of, can I afford this? That version of, you lived in survival mode, conditioned to believe that struggle was just a part of life. But that era is over. You have broken the cycle, the scarcity, the fear, the exhausting push and pull with money. It no longer defines you. You have stepped into something greater, something unshakable. Because now you trust yourself with wealth. You no longer see money as something that can be taken from you at any moment. You've let go of the fear of losing it all because you now understand wealth isn't just numbers in a bank account. It's an energy, a mindset, a command. You are in control of it now. You don't beg for abundance. You don't chase it. It moves through you because you have proven you can handle it. You respect it, but you do not fear it. That is the difference between who you were and who you are now. The past no longer has power over you. The old patterns, the generational beliefs, the limiting stories that once held you back, they are gone. You are no longer the person who accepts struggle as a way of life. You have redefined what is possible, rewritten the narrative. Now when you look at your life, you don't see restrictions, you see opportunities. And the best part is this is just the beginning. Because once you break the cycle, there is no going back. Only forward, only up, only more. This is the life you once only imagined. The passport stamps, the ocean views, the luxury of waking up in a different country just because you felt like it. International travel is no longer a distant dream. It's your new normal. You move with ease, unrestricted by borders, unshaken by limitations. The world is yours to explore, and you no longer ask for permission to experience it. You have stepped into a reality where first-class flights, five-star stays, and breathtaking destinations are not indulgences. They are simply the way you live now, because why should you settle for anything less? And along with that freedom, you've released the guilt. No more second-guessing when it comes to investing in your well-being. No more hesitation when it comes to nourishing your body, your mind, your peace. You no longer subscribe to the idea that suffering is noble or that self-care is a luxury. You eat well, you rest well, you move through life well, because you deserve to. This isn't excess, this isn't selfishness, this is alignment. The old version of you was conditioned to believe that joy had a price, that comfort had to be earned through struggle. But you know better now, so you no longer reach for the cheapest option. You don't default to just enough. You value comfort, you value abundance. You are done with making yourself smaller just to fit into a life that was never meant for you. You are done with choosing survival when you were meant to thrive. Every experience, every upgrade, every moment of ease you allow into your life is a reflection of your new reality. Great wealth is not just about money, it's about power, and power demands responsibility. You have learned that protecting your wealth means protecting your energy, your time, your peace. You no longer entertain chaos. You no longer leave the doors open for energy leeches, opportunists, or those who only show up when they need something. Your resources, financial and spiritual, are not up for grabs. You move with intention now, guarding what you have built with the wisdom of someone who understands that true abundance is sustained, not squandered. You're no longer accessible to those who only know how to take. The ones who once drained your energy, expected your generosity without reciprocity, and never celebrated your growth, they no longer have a seat at your table. You see through the false friendships, the disguised entitlement, the people who show up with open hands but never with open hearts. You choose wisely. Your circle is smaller but stronger. You give, but only to those who respect the exchange. No more guilt, no more obligation, just clarity. Your wealth is not for clout. It is not for proving anything to anyone. You do not spend to impress. You spend to build, to fortify, to create a life of stability, peace, and legacy. Every decision you make is with purpose. Every investment is a seed for something greater. You are not reckless with your power. You are strategic, because this wealth, this energy, it is not just for you. It is for those who will come after you. Every scar, every setback, every moment you thought you wouldn't make it, it all became fuel. You took the pain, the doubt, the losses, and transmuted them into wisdom, into strategy, into power. Nothing was wasted. Nothing broke you. Because you were never meant to stay in struggle. You were meant to rise from it. And now here you are, standing in the very life that once felt like a distant vision. But make no mistake, this wasn't luck. This wasn't handed to you. Your financial growth, your success, your evolution, it was the result of discipline, vision, and a relentless refusal to accept anything less than what you were destined for. Others may not understand how you did it. They may whisper, question, doubt, because they only saw the surface. They didn't witness the late nights, the sacrifices, the moments you had to choose faith over fear. But you always knew. You knew this day would come because you created it. You moved differently when no one was watching. You made decisions most people were too afraid to make. While they waited for permission, for signs, for guarantees, you bet on yourself. That's the difference. That's why you're here. And that's why you don't move like the average person, because you are not average. You don't think small, you don't wait for approval, and you don't play by the same rules that keep others trapped in mediocrity. You operate on a different frequency now, one where struggle is no longer your identity, strength is. You're not here to be understood, you're here to lead. This isn't the end of your rise, it's the foundation for something far greater. You didn't break free just to coast. You didn't push through struggle just to settle. This moment, right here, is not the peak. It's a launch pad. Every decision you make from now on shapes not just your life, but the generations that follow. Your success isn't about indulgence, it's about dominion. You don't just accumulate wealth, you control it, direct it, expand it. The way you move now determines the kind of power that will outlive you. And that's why every step you take must be intentional, unwavering, and beyond the reach of those who don't belong in your orbit. You are no longer in the cycle of grind, scarcity, or stress. You have stepped into the current of abundance, where flow replaces force, where certainty replaces struggle. The old you, the one who doubted, who hesitated, who played small, is gone. That version of you was necessary for the journey, but it no longer serves your future. Now you move differently, with precision, with confidence, with the unshakable, knowing that what you've built cannot be undone. Drop a comment, let it be known. How has your transformation changed the way you see yourself? Speak on it. Let the world witness what evolution looks like in real time.